Hey fourth graders, this is Mrs. Spears. We're back to our lesson videos this week. The first lesson we're going to do is lesson 3.1, multiply by tens. This will look super familiar to you once we get started with it. This is the zero trick that we've done with multiplication before, except we're applying it to two-digit by two-digit multiplication, which is what we're starting this week. So the problem, we're on page 145, starting with this problem. It says animation for a computer-drawn cartoon requires about 20 frames per second. How many frames would need to be drawn for a 30-second cartoon? So I'm checking out this box first. It says the phrase 20 frames per second means 20 frames are needed for each second of animation. How does this help you know what operation to use? Remember, we've talked about how the word each usually talks about multiplication, because we're talking about how each second of the animation needs 20 frames. So instead of sitting there and going 20 plus 20 plus 20 plus 20 30 times, well, we can just multiply and make it go by a little faster. So one way to do it is to use place value, which is the trick we've been doing before. It says multiply 30 times 20. You can think of 20 as two tens, and do 30 times 20 is the same thing as 30 times two tens. 30 times 2 is 60, so now we have 60 tens. A 10 has 1 0, so that becomes 600. We can also use the associative property. We haven't really talked about this as much, but it's definitely something you could do. You can think of 20 as 2 times 10. So 30 times 20 would be 30 times 2 times 10, just replacing that 20 with 2 times 10. And then we would multiply 30 times 2, which is 60 times 10. 6 times 1 is 6 with 2 zeros, makes it 600. So they need 600 frames to be drawn. You can also just use the trick, like I said, the zeros trick that we've been doing before. If we had 30 times 20, which is a different version of these, basically, we take off our zeros for a second. We multiply 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. And then we put those 2 zeros right back on. It's just like the trick we've learned before, except for we're doing it with two-digit by two-digit this time. Take the zeros off, multiply your numbers, put your zeros back on. Turn the page. All right, I'm going to do that trick with you on these 4 problems. First one is 10 times 12, so I'm going to do 1 times 12. 1 times 12 is just 12, with 1 0 put back on it. This one's 20 times 20, so I'm going to do 2 times 2, and that's 4, with 2 zeros put back on. This one, I have 40 times 24. I can take off the 1 0 and do 4 times 24, so I'm going to do that real quick. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So we have 96, putting our 0 right back on. And this one works the same way. 11 times 6. 11 times 6 with 1 0 put back on. That's our final answer. So again, take off your zeros, multiply your numbers that are left, put your zeros back on, just like we've done before. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.